I was like,
I was
posting social
watching you
media
at the
stuff.
bottom. I was like, oh my God, is he going to make it? Is he going to make it?
I did. I didn't make. Now, okay,
No,
I'm
you're
good.
good.
I'm good.
What's up,
Vero.
Scott?
I had to hit Vero
Oh,
really
I
fast.
forgot Vero.
I did Vero.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. What's up, Scott?
You have power. This is amazing.
Oh my God, I know. Oh yeah, didn't you? I promised that you would do show tunes.
I know, and I'm
But
like,
it's okay. You don't have to.
I'm sitting here going, your mouth's right and checks my butt has to cash. This isn't fair. Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can do something really quick. Let's see. Long, long ago, so long ago, I hardly know when, my great-great-grandmother now and then went out with a gypsy. Of course, you will say she was a little bit tipsy, but tipsy, no. Of their love there wasn't a doubt. So I can't wait to get the stage all set, so I can let the gypsy in me out. There you go.
Bravo, bravo.
My first high school musical, Anything Goes by Cole Porter.
There you go. And so yeah, that makes up last week. My power literally went out. Like what was it? Like 2 hours before the stream because I was getting ready.
3 hours, yeah, exactly.
I was in the shower, like getting ready, and then all of a sudden, all of the power went out, and I was like, okay. And it didn't come back until the next day. So sorry, guys, but there's a show tune to make up for it. Thank you, Scott. What's up, Glorious?
Howdy.
Hello, Jason. Joey.
Okay, Joey. I see how it is.
I didn't expect to be serenaded tonight. Well, surprise. Yeah, I promised that last week, so there you go, Alex.
I loved it too because you wrote the tweet like "saw we," and I was like, "Oh my God, I can hear you wrote. I can hear Meg saying this."
I don't know what I walked in on, but I love it. Me too. Hey, what's going on? My night is going well. How about you? And they said, "What's up, Scott?"
Hey, I'm just here chilling, ready to talk about a great book.
Oh, yes, and what a great chapter to start out on. Chapter 8. So the last time we met, give them a little rundown of those chapters.
Okay, so last time they finally so we met Leto, and there's a great father-son moment, and then flip the page, and boom, we're on Arrakis, and Jessica and Leto kind of have this weird meeting because Leto is like, I've got that man
to do, woman.
I got stuff to do. I got to make this happen. And she's like, you're gonna die, but I can't tell you that. And then we also met Mapes, and we had really weird Bene Gesserit Jedi mind tricks, and it was incredible. And now we're here.
Cool, like dagger thing, the Chris knife, which
details.
What else was I reading? There was something else. Oh, I was actually playing World of Warcraft, which is consumed my life again. No, and I so like when you kill stuff in the game, like certain stuff drops, like weapons and like gear and stuff. So I looted this knife, and it was actually called the Chris knife, and I was like, no way, that's so cool, but it didn't look anything like the one it described. So disappointed, but it made me think of Dune. So my life is being consumed by Dune and World of Warcraft references, and it's cool how they meet together.
I think you're living your best life, actually.
I really am. Dune, Warcraft. My armpits are sore from going to the gym. Life's great, Life is great.
I love
bought
how
a
you
new lamp the other day.
Really?
Nice. Yeah. I was really excited about it too.
You got some new VHSs coming your way soon.
I do. I'm so excited. Yeah, you sent me a picture and you're like, make me an offer. And I'm like, oh my God. So many X-Men, so many Batman. And VHS rewinder. So
I know, because we don't want to wear out the VCR. Rewind.
Exactly. And I don't know how long these VCRs I got are going to last me because they're older than I am. So it's nice to not, I'll be able to use that instead of my VCR.
Man, and there's some people probably in the chat going, "What's a VCR?
What's a VHS?" That was last week. Someone was like, "I don't know what a VHS is," and so I literally had to get a picture of VHSs like all stacked up.
Oh my God.
Okay, let's dive into it because after this, we're going to record an unboxing of a McClellan figure. So,
and I get to build a Batista.
Yes. Oh, you have all the pieces, right?
I have all the pieces.
I have his head, and then whatever the Baron comes with. Does he come with anything?
The Baron doesn't come with anything.
Oh yeah, because he's like 2 foot tall.
Exactly. And 5 foot wide.
Yeah, seriously. Let's get into this. So chapter 8, we both agreed backstage that this is our favorite chapter out of them all. And it's also the longest chapter out of the 3 we're going to talk about. So chapter 8 opens up with, hold on, let me get to the page. I'm
going to get started while you're doing that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because once again, with all the meta texts that start the book.
Yeah, I love this meta text. Short and sweet.
Oh, yeah. You goes the refrain. 1,000,000 deaths were not enough for you. A child's history of Muad'Dib. And I'm like, it's basically like the Dune version of Ring Around the Rosie. Because if you know the story of that, that's super dark. So.
Yeah. Which when I read that, it made me think like, oh my gosh, like how many people like has he been involved with their deaths or something? I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, no, if it's creepy. A child history of Muad'Dib, all that matters. It's like Judas. I mean, it's Judas. Yeah. It's like all you have to do is betray that one person, and like your name is like crap for all of eternity.
Yeah. What's up, Anthony? You just caught the beginning. Spoiler alert, that's probably going to be the best part of this stream today is Scott's show tunes. So thank you, Scott. Okay. So basically this chapter is, we agree that it's our favorite because of the tension between Dr. Yu and Lady Jessica. Because Yu throughout this chapter is like, he's trying to convince himself that he's trying to convince her that there's nothing wrong. So he's like playing it cool. Like anytime they have like an interaction, he's like, well, I can't like hint at what I'm about to do because she's going to know.
Right. Because she's Bene Gesserit. And he's also got this whole tension of, does she know? Is she playing me? Is she, because I don't know if we mentioned it last time when we talked about Wana, his wife, but his wife was Bene Gesserit.
Yep. Yeah.
And if you paid attention to the encyclopedia entry at the beginning of, I think it was chapter 5, it indicates that his wife was Bene Gesserit. So he knows the tricks. So he's like sweating bullets this entire time. But we're also kind of, in a way, sweating bullets because we get to hear both of their inner monologues.
Yes, I love that. Is one thing I really love about this is that even if it like you can hear like their struggles with each other, but in their head, and it's like, okay, well, you're reading it and you already know like what Dr. Yu is supposed to be, like what his spot in the story is, and it's like you just want to be like, oh my God, he's the one, because it's like you can hear his inner monologue and then you can hear her inner monologue, and it's like, oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Because she has no clue.
Yeah. And he has no clue on whether she knows what he's up to or not. So he's like, okay, well, I need to like in my notes here, because he gets embarrassed about something in this chapter. And he's like, I have to use my embarrassment to my advantage. Like he plays on his embarrassment so she doesn't suspect him of being like a bad person.
Which once again, it's kind of like I think we like this so much is because it's almost exactly like the chess game from chapter 7 when Jessica is trying to play into the Bene Gesserit myth that the Fremen believe in. Except for this, it's like now we're seeing how Jessica isn't all powerful because she is she is dropping the ball on this one because she has no idea what Yu is up to.
Yeah. So they meet in like so they're in Arrakis, and they're in this like big hall, like where the head family would stay, and it's like all sectioned off into like different wings. So like this is the like and then I think it's in chapter 10 when we find out that this is the one side of the like stronghold that she hasn't checked out yet.
Right.
So she's going to see Paul, and she meets with Dr. Yu like outside of Paul's room. I'm thinking it's probably just like a meeting room or like a hallway. I don't know. A big room. It has like a window in it where they're all just where he's like just staring off into like the abyss of Arrakis, which I think is really cool.
Yes.
But they're talking to each other, and
well, before you get to that, I love this description of Dr. Yu because it's so on the nose. It says he looked from behind like a fleshless stick figure in overlarge black clothing, a caricature poised for stringy movements at the direction of a puppet master. Which is brilliant because, yes, he's a puppet of the Harkonnens right now.
Yeah.
And so this description of him was just, whoa. I stopped and I highlighted that because I was just like, that is amazing.
Yeah. He has such a creepy description. Like, I just get such a bad vibe from just his description alone.
Yeah. And just this, and I think you commented last time about his skinniness.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I really do imagine he's got like a Fu Manchu or something going on because it talks about his mustache and how long it is and how it kind of moves as he moves his head. And so just like, I just always think of him going, ooh.
He's just staring out the window. Yeah. It also says he has long black hair too. So that would make sense.
Yeah.
Long black hair, long black Fu Manchu.
Exactly. And then this is interesting because he like slips up and he doesn't call her like my lady or like he starts to slip up and she calls him Wellington, his first name. And this is so telling of Jessica. She says, we've known each other 6 years, she said. It's long past time formality should have been dropped between us in private. Yeah. I think that's so telling that she's like, no. Come on.
I trust you. Yeah, we know each other. Yeah, she's someone that I don't think that like titles matter very much to her, especially if she knows you. And then what I love, and I feel like it's one of my favorite parts, is the inner monologue where he's like, I believe it has worked. Now she'll think anything unusual in my manner is due to embarrassment. She'll not look for deeper reasons when she believes she already knows the answer. So he's going to use his embarrassment so like she's not suspicious of when he's acting strange, because he is acting very strange throughout this whole chapter.
Yeah, he is. And that's the part that you just want to go, Jessica,
it's right in front of you. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I just dramatic irony. It's like it's killing it. And I think we talked about it, I think, in our second part, where we were surprised by in the Harkonnen chapter where they just flat out tell us who the traitor is.
Yeah, I know.
But this is why it's so important for us to know who the traitor is, because we are like squirming right now because we know what's up.
Yeah, and because in the chapter previous to this, chapter 7, she gets there in such a rush too. Like it's like there's this imminent harm that she feels like it's gonna happen. She's like, I just have to get to Paul. And then she gets to, and then there's Dr. Yu, and it's like so not anticlimactic, but like she's like, oh well, I'm gonna talk to Dr. Yu now. And it's like
it immediately disarms her.
Yeah, exactly. But we know he's not a very nice dude.
Well, I don't even know if we'd say he's not a nice dude. It's just he is so tortured. And this chapter really, it's like, I feel like we get, that's what's important about this chapter is you understand so much more about Dr. Yu's motivation and struggle. Like we saw him kind of freak out with Paul. We see him freak out with Jessica. He doesn't hate the Atreides.
No, he doesn't.
But he loves his wife more.
Yeah.
And it makes him such a compelling character.
Well, I think it's interesting. You said that Wana was Bene Gesserit, and he says that long ago he had realized Jessica was not gifted with the full truth say as his Wana had been. Still, he always used the truth with Jessica whenever possible. It was safest.
Yes, I highlighted the same thing.
Yeah. It's interesting though to think that she's not like as powerful or doesn't have like the full like powers as Wana did. I can't imagine how powerful Wana was then.
Right. Well, think about like the Reverend Mother. I almost wonder if that has something to do with the fact that Jessica was chosen. It seems like at a younger age, like she's been at least with Leto long enough that they've been together. Plus, they've had a 15-year-old.
Yes. Yeah.
So and she's not that old.
Well, they even say like I don't know if it was in the last few chapters that we read that like she was like chosen or something. So I imagine that like she was probably pretty young. Yes,
exactly. And so I imagine that probably the reason she's not as quote powerful is because she wasn't at the Bene Gesserit school long enough to get the full-blown training before she had to go and be, the Duke's concubine.
Yeah. Well, and then their conversation steers like from, knowing each other for so long to what Dr. Yu is looking at out the window, and he says he's looking at the people. And just observing them and what they do. And I think it's, a little foreshadowing because they're talking about water. And in chapter 10, there's like a really cool, thing about water. But I think it's interesting because the people have only known the Harkonnens, sorry. And how brutal and just horrible they are.
Yeah.
And no one knows that more than Dr. Yu, for sure.
Yes. And, by the way, quick tangent. I love the fact that we actually find out what the crysknife is made out of.
Yes.
The tooth of a sandworm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That just sounds awesome. I think it's really tied into the whole, they have all those date palms planted outside. Yes. And they're measuring like how much water one of those trees consumes. So it's like the water is, what was it? The water is equal to 5 men.
Yeah, he says they look at those trees and they think there are 100 of us. That's what they think. So each tree is, 100 of them. Is that right? Or no, the trees as a whole.
Right. All the trees that are growing, it would equal. So
100 of us. Oh my gosh.
So that's incredible. Like once again, hitting home again, just how precious water is on this planet.
Yeah. Yeah, because like what you said, one date palm requires 40 liters of water a day. A man requires but 8 liters. A palm then equals 5 men. There are 20 palms out there, 100 men. And then Jessica says, but some of those people look at the trees hopefully.
Because they're hoping the dates will fall, because then that would give them
more water.
More water. Yeah, it's and I like that the spice could make us rich. With a fat treasury, we can make this world into whatever we wish, which is interesting because it's a mentality of we're here so we can become a more rich and powerful family. But yet we do, even as, colonialists, we at least have more noble intentions than the Harkonnens did.
It just seemed like the Harkonnens were just horrible for like horrible to these people for literally just no reason other than that they could be.
I know that. I think that might be one area where maybe you can be a little critical, is that the Harkonnens are just such black hats. Like, it's just, you're bad because you're bad.
Yeah.
And what I look forward to seeing, for your perspective, if the rest of the book maybe fills that in, or is it something that maybe even as I like continue on into the rest of the Dune series, does that get a little bit more fleshed out? Because I mean, I know you can just have bad guys that are bad guys, but with everyone else being so nuanced in the book, it does kind of stand out that the Harkonnens are sort of, you know, I'm fat, I'm evil.
I'm evil just cause, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree. And then something you hit on earlier was how you isn't necessarily like just a bad person. It says had another inner monologue. If only it were possible to hate these people instead of love them.
Yeah.
And that's after he, gets done. Well, they talk about, the water and all of that. And I feel like they're talking about the Atreides family here.
Yes, he's talking about the Atreides. He's talking about because he has to portray them. It would be, he wouldn't be so conflicted if he actually disliked the Atreides like he does the Harkonnens. But he says the ways of the Harkonnen cruelty were devious. Wana might not be dead.
Yes,
he had to be certain.
So, and I wrote that down. I'm like, is he doing this just on the chance that Wana might not be dead?
And see, I think that's it. I think it's just maybe. Now, of course, I think if we go back to that encyclopedia entry back from like chapter 5, I think she is. I mean, I think it's pretty much confirmed she is dead.
Yeah.
So it makes this even more tragic that he's doing all of this, and it's like nobody
and he doesn't even know if she's dead or not. And it's so sad because, like, I really feel like Jessica and the Atreides family like care for him in a way that like is more than just like someone that helps their house out or something.
Right. But then you goes on to say, but I must stand before that black baron with his deed accomplished and take my one chance to strike him where he is weakest in his gloating moment. So once again, it's like he's going to do this. He's going to kill Paul, but it's because that will give him the access he needs to Harkonnen. And there's never going to be an opportunity he can be that close to the guy with his guard down to be able to then kill the Baron. So once again, Yu is not like this terrible, awful person. He's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, but he's got, I mean, we would all agree that if anyone could go and take out Harkonnen, more power to you.
Yeah. No, yeah, and it's sad because like he doesn't even know if she's dead or alive. I just think that's so heartbreaking because like you can tell he has such a deep like love for her.
Yes, very much so. Which I think is interesting because his wife's a Bene Gesserit, and sometimes I think it's interesting to see how Yu feels about his. Well, and I think they even make a point about how they are married, they are husband and wife.
Yeah.
Versus what. And this is an issue that comes up a lot in these 3 chapters, is that idea that Leto didn't marry Jessica.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of back and forth on that because you've got Yu, who did marry Wana, who has been a Gesserit. And then there will be another character we'll talk about in a couple of chapters. And I think it goes into, I think, what is this internal struggle within Jessica.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a completely jerky thing that Leto didn't marry her, but she still feels pangs of regret about the fact that he didn't. And but I like it too, because it's not like we talked about last time. Leto isn't a completely shining knight on his horse, but he's not a terrible dude either, even though maybe he did some things that were okay within his society that maybe we look at and go, really, dude?
Yeah. Yeah. and at the end of page 96 here, it talks about she wants to go like check up on Paul, and she said, "Would it disturb Paul if I looked in on him? Not at all. I gave him a sedative." And she asks him if he's taking the change well, and Dr. Yu says, except for getting a bit overtired. He's excited, but what 15-year-old wouldn't be under these circumstances? Which I find that a little interesting. If he's overtired, why would he need a sedative? But then we find out Paul didn't actually take the sedative, right?
Right, he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't take the sedative. So Jessica checks in on him, and I think it's interesting because it's like really one of the first times we get like a physical description of Paul that's so like detailed.
Yes, absolutely.
Says Jessica stared in at her son, seeing the oval shape of his face, so like her own, but the hair was the Duke's, coal-colored and tousled. Long lashes concealed a lime-tone eyes. Jessica smiled, feeling her fears retreat. She was suddenly caught by the idea of genetic traces of her son's features, her lines in eyes and facial outline, but sharp touches of the father peering through that outline like maturity emerging from childhood.
Which that then makes me go, once again, as we kind of connect this to how we're kind of hyping up for the movie, like, dude, does that not sound like Timothée Chalamet?
It's literally Timothée Chalamet.
Chalamet. Sorry, I got his name wrong.
You're good.
But they even describe, like tousled and coal colors. Like, dude, they did that to Oscar Isaac. That's his hair.
Yeah. No, I think that it's perfect casting for sure. And Timothée Chalamet does kind of look like a 15-year-old boy sometimes. So.
Oh yeah. He usually plays a 15-year-old boy a lot.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like Lady Bird, Little Women. Like, there's a lot of times where he play like. He's one of those guys that, like, yeah, you get cast as a high schooler a lot. I get it.
Yeah. I just love how she's, like, checking in on him and making sure that, like, everything's good, because then we find, like... in this chapter is when it happens, right?
No, it's next chapter.
Oh, okay. Well, the next chapter is... It's very short, but it's super to the point. But she's looking in on him and, like, really observing him, and it's almost like... she's just taking all this in, like, I don't know. For me, it feels like she knows something might be happening, so, like, she wants to get a really nice look at him.
Yeah. Well, I also think it's interesting is that then once that happens, he...
Yes, he looks like a 15-year-old.
Yes, he does look like a 15-year-old. That is very true. You starts wondering about what it would have been like if I had a child... did Juana, because we know the Bene Gesserit have this incredible control over their own physical bodies. It's like, did she not give me a child? I highlighted, quote, was she perhaps instructed to serve a different purpose? What could it have been? She loved me, certainly. He was caught up in the thought that he might be part of a pattern more involuted and complicated than his mind could grasp.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes me think about our discussion in our very first episode when we talked about when I basically convinced you that the Bene Gesserit are as badass as they are because it was just the machinations. Like they're playing that long game. Yeah. And it's almost like one. So like you was starting to like peek behind the curtain a little bit. He doesn't completely understand what's going on. But it's like, well, was it purposeful that I never had a child with Juana? Yeah. And it's just because then these events couldn't have played out the way they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting for him to like kind of see like how the simulation is going. Like,
yes,
it's like starting to crack a little bit. I love it.
And then what happens then I think is interesting, and this is a part that I am going to enjoy watching you like watch this thread. Hi, Cole.
Hi.
Through the whole novel. Is they introduced this idea of the mystery of Arrakis.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I literally wrote down page 98, lack of water equals a mystery.
Because this is, I mean, what I highlighted was Jessica says the water is stopped. Something plugs it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my suspicion. Thoughts, Meg? What are you thinking right now?
I think that the family before them messed with the water supply so that like the people were even more like not willing to serve, but like they had to serve because the only way they could get water was to do their jobs.
Okay.
That's what I think. I think the Harkonnens messed with the water.
All right. Okay. We shall see. This is the part where Scott gets a torture Meg, and he's like, "I'm not gonna tell you."
I'll make sure I'll bookmark this at 31 minutes 29 seconds. I'll go back to this when I figure it out and either be like, "You're a genius," or "You were wrong."
Yeah, we need the what's that game show? We need the ding 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 or the womp womp.
Bum bum ba
Was that the Price is Right, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Oh
or
my God.
We could do whammies.
Oh, press your luck.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So
Cole says I might have to give Dune another try. Yes. Do it. Do it.
And really that's, and I feel like that's what the rest of the chapter, I mean, the rest of the chapter
it's a lot about water.
It's a lot about water. It's a lot about like this whole idea of the mystery of Arrakis, of what happened to the water. That this is a thread that like continues on. But what I think is interesting is once you get past all the lot about water, we finally get it revealed, like where this deep hatred between the Atreides and the Harkonnens come from.
Mm-hmm.
I highlighted it saying the Baron cannot forget that Leto is a cousin of the royal blood, no matter what the distance, while the Harkonnen titles come of the Chom pocketbook. But the poison in him, deep in his mind, is the knowledge that Atreides had a Harkonnen banished for cowardice after the Battle of Corran.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can fill you in on... I can delve into the whole like glossary thing, and I can tell you about what the Battle of Corran was.
Do it. I want to know.
Okay.
Because I was a little confused.
Okay. So the Battle of Corran occurred in 88 BG. And when we talk about BG, I'm going to have to make you wait because someone's knocking on the door. So
no, you're good.
Meg, entertain the people.
Oh, okay. I can do that. Let me make myself bigger. Sup, guys? Okay, you guys want to see some cool stuff that I got recently? I got my Pride Deadpool here. Very cool. Very colorful. Do you like it? I'll do videos on all these eventually. It's just... I'm lazy. Oh! Check that puppy out. This is Rebirth. Oh, it says it on the side there. Yeah, Rebirth. Very cool. I like his facial expression. Such a punk. Let's see what else. Oh, I got these. When I hung out with Tiff-tastic. They're actually cups, and I had no idea that these were cups. Yeah, there's like, here, I can demonstrate. You take this off, you fill it up, put this on, and then you put your straw in there. Very cool. And they were like, I don't know, they were pretty cheap. Practically, they gave them away. So let me put them back. Yeah, aren't they awesome, Cole? They're very cute. Let's see, what else? Oh, I got my collector's edition of Dawn of the Dead. Still need to watch it. You know what's cool is I didn't know this, but if Joey's still here, this inside part is like reversible. So you can like... So that's the other side. This is how, like, that's the part that came on it. But we all changed them. Now watch, I'm going to mess it up getting it back in there. Very cool. I think the only other movie I need of Zach's that's out, like on physical, would be the Owl one. Don't have that. I suck at getting these back on. You guys can watch me struggle. Usually in a video, I would edit this part out, but you guys get to see it. Okay, there's that. Ow, my hair's stuck in it. What's up, Amanda? Scott is... Oh, he's back! Whew. Thank God I was running out of things to show.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
My oldest just got back from his first swim meet of the season, so I had to congratulate him. His team won first place in the relay.
Woo! Woo!
Yes, and he got Zaxby's for dinner, and I'm kind of jealous.
He got what?
Zaxby's.
What's that?
It's a chicken plate. It's like chicken fries, toast, salad kind of place.
Oh my God!
So he's got like this big old thing of like chicken fingers and buttered toast and crinkly fries.
God. I need that.
I know.
We don't really have anything like that around here.
That's just sad. It's like it.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Oh, it's like water. You don't have Michigan is like the Arrakis of Zaxby's. I'm so sorry. You need more chicken.
I do. I really do. Okay.
So the Battle of Corin took place in 88 BG, and it's important to realize that. Wow! Oh yeah, Anthony would know. Anthony totally would know. South.
Well, when I go visit Anthony and possibly Scott someday, we'll all go to Zaxby's. Is that how you say it?
Yes, that's how you say it.
We'll all go there.
Yeah, you will, and we'll eat all the bad things.
Yes, I can't wait.
So BG normally stands for B'nai Gesserit. But
I was going to say.
Right, normally. But when used as a date, I'm actually going to I'm going to quote the glossary. With a date, it signifies before guild and identifies the imperial dating system based on the genesis of the Spacing Guild's monopoly.
Wow.
So basically the guilds happen, the empire is born, and so the Battle of Corin is 88 BG, so 88 years before guild.
Okay.
So, and we're now in like post 10,000 of the imperial era. So we're talking, and I don't know how they measure a year in or a cycle in this universe. So, but we're talking about a feud that goes back over 10,000 cycles.
Whew. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So that just tells you how deeply ingrained this feud between the Atreides and the Harkonnens are.
And Paul was supposed to fix it if he was born a girl.
Exactly. But would he have really fixed it, though?
Yeah, I mean, it's like putting a Band-Aid on it, and it's not really going to last.
Yeah. So that's just kind of to give you an idea, because going back to the idea of what we talked about, the Butlerian Jihad, the war against the machines, that's 201 BG to 108 BG. So that was about 100-year revolt against the machines. So just to give you an idea about when all these major events have happened in the course of time. So when we talk about Mentats, that's a system that's been around for over 10,000 cycles because the Mentats replaced the machines.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what I'm here for.
Cole asks, so are you guys happy with the Dune castings compared to how you imagine them?
Yes.
For me, I started reading this, like a few months after the trailer came out because I thought the cast looked amazing. So I started reading it, and that's when Scott and I started doing this. But it is interesting. Sometimes when I'm reading and that's the cool thing and the bad thing about reading after a movie, a movie or a TV show has like come out about something you're reading, is that you are going to compare their description to the actor. I think Timothée Chalamet is spot on with the casting, purely on looks right now. But like, for Lady Jessica, I think that it's a great casting, obviously, but it's a little bit different than I like the description in the book, which is completely fine. I mean, you got to go with who the best actress or actor is.
And for me, like, I read the book for the first time 2 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago. It's actually 3 years at this point. I read the book for the first time, and I had seen the '84 movie already.
Yeah.
And then I read the book, and then when the cast started getting announced, I'm not so much hung up on the physical descriptions as much as I was celebrating, oh, that actor would embody that character. Like, I wasn't thinking about the way I'm not. So to answer your question, Cole, as the cast was getting announced, I was going spot. Oh, dude. Yeah. I would like every time I heard a new person, I was like, oh, they're going to play the heck out of that role. And so I have been thrilled with all the casting so far.
Yes. Yeah, and I agree. Like, now that I'm reading it and finding out more about the characters, I'm like, okay, yeah, this person is not only perfect, like Timothée Chalamet, he looks like the character, but I also think that he's going to bring what Paul has in the book, like his attitude and the youth that the character still has, but also like he's maturing and of course Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica. See, they're one the
same now.
Yeah. And then also I think Oscar Isaac as Duke Leto. Oh my God, that's gonna be great.
Amazing. Yes.
Amazing. Because he doesn't 100% match the description, but now I can't really think of anyone else that could replace him or
but he's going to have that regalness.
Yes. Yeah. And even I get that from the pictures too. Like when I'm going through, like if I just look up Dune, like Google image of the stuff that they revealed so far, I'm like, he has such a regality to him, and I just I love it.
So I'm ecstatic with the casting, Cole. Yeah. So that's my opinion. And like, most people who are Dune fans like have read the books and like been like, you don't hear a bad word in the majority of people. Most of us are looking at this cast going,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Well, I was actually talking to my dad about that yesterday because he says that he's seen parts of the old Dune film, and I'm just like, this casting for this one is just, I mean, Josh Brolin, Jason Momoa, it's just, why wouldn't you want
Javier Bardem?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot he's in it.
Yes. I have the figure that we'll be unboxing later.
You know? Yeah. No, I agree. I think so. Yeah, Cole. I think how I imagine them is how they are. So I think that's cool.
So nice. I like tangents like that.
Me too. We'll be here for hours, but it's okay.
Oh yes.
Cole says that's always the tricky part when you hear a book is being adapted. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Here is also, I like this because you brings up the question about the Duke not marrying Jessica.
Yes.
And she responds herself. I love how he puts it. Why haven't you made the Duke marry you?
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. She whirled head up, glaring. Made him marry me? I'm like, dude, you just asked the wrong question.
Yeah.
And she goes, no, she shrugged. There's good political reason. As long as my Duke remains unmarried, some of the great houses can still hope for alliance. And motivating people, forcing them to your will, gives you a cynical attitude towards humanity. It degrades everything it touches. If I made him do this, then it would not be his doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that he was the one that brought it up to it. Like, definitely caught her off guard. She was like, not expecting for him to be the one that would say it.
Well, and also I think she just took offense by the idea that she would make him do it, because the Bene Gesserit have the power to do that. They have
Mhm.
that ability to compel someone.
Mhm.
And I think she was offended by the idea that that would be even something she would do. And as she points out, it wouldn't mean anything. It wouldn't mean anything if I compelled Leto to do it, because it wasn't Leto's choice to do it.
Yeah.
But this is where we're getting kind of into that whole Game of Thrones thing. That's
Mhm.
like they need. He's never going to marry anyone else.
No.
Like, I think they've made that clear.
Yeah.
But but they have to put on the show that it's still a possibility, just
Mhm.
cause.
Yeah. Well, something interesting. Going back to page 100, another inner monologue, of course. Um, it's Lady Jessica actually when she finds out that Wana was Bene Gesserit. Those animals, his wife was Bene Gesserit. The signs are all over him, and it's obvious the Harkonnens killed her. Here's another poor victim bound to the Atreides by a, I don't know, cherub of hate.
Yeah, I needed to look that.
Yeah, I don't know what that
I
word is.
meant to look that word up. How do you spell it?
Cherem.
REM.
Yep.
Okay. Uh, okay. Uh, it's Hebrew. It's the total exclusion of a person from the community. It's excommunication.
Mm.
So it's like something refers to things or persons to be utterly destroyed. So the idea that he has been destroyed by his hate, like he's been pushed to the Atreides because he's been destroyed by this hate. That's
Mm-hmm.
the one possible definition of the word.
And I think it's also playing on Jessica. She feels so badly that she brought Dr. Yu to this place because she says, Wellington, I'm sorry we brought you into this dangerous place. He says, I came willingly, he said, and that too was true because he always says that he has to tell the truth. He came willingly to an extent, I feel like.
Well, yeah, he came willingly.
Surface
Yeah.
level, that's true.
Yes, exactly. Because I had to come here so that I could assassinate Paul,
Yeah, and then he says, but this whole planet is a Harkonnen trap. You must know that. Um, she says, it'll take more than a trap to catch the Duke Leto. And that too was true. Um, and Jessica says, perhaps I should be more confident in him. He's a brilliant tactician. And then it goes into more about the people where the people were rioting when they found out that more people were coming to Arrakis. But they stopped rioting because the Duke put in this equipment. What was it? Wind traps and condensers to take care of like the extra people they were bringing. So these people are super like they're just ready to pounce on who like okay, you're coming here, we're gonna riot, and then they do something good, and they're like, okay, we're good for now. Because I feel
Yes.
like they just have that like there's they've been abused so badly by the
Well, like
Harkonnens. So like
it's just like the match. Like, this
yeah,
thing's going to go up like kindling, you
yeah.
know. And I think this is just a very destabilized region. And once
Hmm.
again, you've got more. You've got to remember, again, we're talking about a metaphor for colonists coming in
Yes.
and pillaging this world for its natural resource.
Hmm.
Like, they're only here because they want to strip Arrakis of spice.
Yeah, because she says, "Are we certain that the soil is so hostile?" And then it goes on to say that there's so many guards everywhere, and they're always wearing their shields.
Yeah, it's just the fact that, like, no, like, they know they are not safe here.
Yeah.
It's like the Harkonnens could be up to something, the indigenous people can be up to something. Like, this reinforces why everyone speaks with such impending doom or dread.
And she
Being
literally says, "I can smell death in this place."
Yeah, And by the way, you can also just completely dehydrate and die from,
Oh yeah, if
lack
you're,
of water.
poor enough, you'll just die because you don't have water. Because the price goes up because more people are showing up.
Yeah. But once again, it also points out what the Atreides are doing. It's like, hey, we're
Yeah.
going to put in the infrastructure that we're going to balance the scales. We're bringing more people, but we're also going to put in the equipment and the methods to generate more water so that we're making up for, we're basically going to sustain ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And then these pages we kind of talked about where, he's asking like, why don't you make him marry you type thing. And,
I think this next part that Jessica talks about really delves into something.
Mm-hmm.
It illustrates something we talked about last time. She says, besides Wellington, the Duke is really two men. One of them I love very much. He's charming, witty, considerate, tender, everything a woman could desire. But the other man is cold, callous, demanding, selfish, as harsh and cruel as a winter wind. That's the man shaped by the father. If only that old man had died when my Duke was born. And we saw that. We saw that in their interaction in, what was it, like chapter 6 or chapter 7?
Yeah, with the picture, right?
Yes, with the portrait, and how like he loved her, but then when he made up his mind, he made up his mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know, something in my notes made me laugh. They talked about the spice and the taste of it. The first time you taste it, it's like cinnamon.
Yes, and I remember
it reminded me of your tweet.
Yes, because I was totally, before you lost power, I was like, I went to the dentist that morning. and no lie, I picked the cinnamon flavor toothpaste for them to polish my teeth with because I was like, I had just read that morning before I went to the dentist. And I was like, yes, I'm going to experience my reading.
This chapter is just so, there's a lot in it, and there's so much tension because it's like, I feel like if she was just a little bit more suspicious of him, and maybe if she didn't know him as long, she would have, like, alarms would have started like going off in her head.
And I know, and then I'm going to jump ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
Then you see how the book and the plan starts to lay the seeds for, she starts to suspect the wrong person, and you're just like, no.
Yeah.
Because
is there anything else from this chapter?
No, because I'm ready to move on to the next chapter. Because dang, this one was like, I'll tell you this next chapter. If we talk about the David Lynch movie from 1984, this scene, this chapter, when I think back to the Lynch movie, it's like, I remember the test.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it's like the movie in my brain skips to this scene. Like it's weird. I know there's other things that happen in that film adaptation, but like in my brain, as like the third grade me who watched that version of the film, it was like pain box, assassination attempt. Like that felt like that's how the movie goes in my head.
Yeah. This chapter it's really, at first it starts out, it's like Paul is such a trickster.
Yes.
And it's like so evident in this one because in the previous chapter it's talking about how he was supposed to get like a sedative to be able to sleep, but Paul's like, I'm not taking that because I want to explore.
Being a kid.
I want to be a kid, you know?
And it's just, I'm so glad you made that connection, calling him a trickster. I want you to remember that moving forward. Yes. That was a very important note observation that you just made.
Literally says page 106, Trickster Paul.
Yes. You're going to have one of the, you're going to feel very proud of yourself later on. I'm just going to say that.
All right. At 55:13, I will go back and pat myself on the back.
Yay.
So yeah, it says Paul lay on the bed. It was, easy to palm Dr. Yu's sleeping tablet and to pretend to swallow it. Paul suppressed a laugh. Even his mother had believed him asleep. He had wanted to jump up and ask her permission to go exploring the house, but he had realized she wouldn't approve. Things were too unsettled yet. No, this was best.
This way was best. Oh, so completely tricking all the adults.
Yeah.
This is going to be cool. Yeah. This is when Paul feels more like a 15-year-old.
Yeah, and it's sad because like you're reading it and at the beginning you're like, oh, he's just being a kid, you know, and then like he literally like is so close to like death, and then in like the next chapter it's like, okay, well now he has to like grow up because he just had his first assassination attempt, and I feel like that would mature you a little bit for sure. But it's like he doesn't have a choice, like
no,
and that's sad.
But can we take a moment to appreciate the cool ass bed he has?
Yes, page 107, dope AF beds. That's what I wrote.
Yes, because here's the description. I have it right here. Paul's attention went to the carved headboard of his bed, a false headboard attached to the wall and concealing the controls for this room's functions. A leaping fish had been shaped on the wood with thick brown waves beneath it. He knew if he pushed the fish's one visible eye, that would turn on the room's dispenser lamps. One of the waves, when twisted, controlled ventilation. Another changed the temperature. God, dude, your cool. Bed, like the home like thermostat.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie Smart House?
No, I have not.
Well, it's a smart house. And it like reminds me of that. Like his headboard can literally control things in his room. Just amazing. I need one. So
instead of having like an Echo Dot or like a HomePod, you just want the cool ass headboard.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know how many times I wake up and I'm like either too hot, too cold? It'd be so cool just to be like, do, and then go back to bed.
Twist the wave, push the fish eye.
Push the fish. Yeah, push the fish, twist this. There we go. I'm good. Smart House was the shit. Yeah, Smart House was cool. You need to watch it. It's really good.
Where is it?
It was a Disney movie, like Disney Channel movie, so I'm not sure.
Might be on Disney Plus?
Let's look. Smart House. This is very important. Made in 1999.
My senior year of high school.
Oh, yes! You can watch it on Disney Plus.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's on my watch list now.
There we go. It's really cool. It's very cheesy, but it's supposed to be cheesy.
It's supposed to be cheesy, exactly.
Yeah. It's literally a smart house. So I don't know how it couldn't be cheesy, but it could also make for a really good horror movie. I think if they remade it.
That's when you need to read. Okay, and this is where I come in with a reading recommendation.
I got my pen and paper right in front of me.
Okay, it's a short story, so you'll be good. Ray Bradbury, and Then There Will Come Soft Rains.
Okay.
I think you can find it in the Martian Chronicles. I think that's the book you'd find it in. But you want to talk about a man in the 50s predicting a smart house.
All right, Martian Chronicles. Got it.
Awesome.
Okay, back to Dune. Amanda says, I'm stealing this for speech. Go ahead. It says, quietly, Paul sat up in the bed. A tall bookcase stood against the wall. So he's just like scoping out his room. And then he thinks about one of the film books, Arrakis, His Imperial Majesty's Desert Botanical Testing Station. This old film book was before discovery of the spice. Names flitted through Paul's mind, each of its pictured. Names and pictures.
No, okay, you skipped the cool part.
I can't read it.
Well, because we were talking about the film books, I think, last time.
Yeah.
And the book has a mnemonic pulse.
Yes.
So you're talking about a book that has technology that basically beams the information and makes you remember it. Because that's what a mnemonic device is something that helps you remember something. So the book is like going boop, 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 boop. And it's like it's associating words and pictures and like imprinting it on your brain. Dude, I could have used this in college.
Oh, dude, for sure. But he says he's learning so many new things about spice, sandworms, and then that's his mother then leaves because he's like it's funny because I picture it as like a kid under their blanket with like a flashlight and a book, and then literally like the next 2 pages or so he is like fighting for his life. It's so messed up.
Well, it's interesting because like when the Hunter Seeker appears, and I'm curious, when you read the description of the Hunter Seeker, what did you envision? Like, based on the description, what did you see this device as?
Kind of similar to Steppenwolf's little spider, but like a snake. Like mechanical and just like deadly, like sharp and just metal looking.
But floating in the air.
Yes, yeah.
Because it describes it as a sliver of metal. So I like yours. Yours is so much more intriguing because I literally just imagine like a floating needle.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, I picture it as like a straight up, just like, you know, those wood snakes that like you get at like a fair.
Oh, no, we have one upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah, but like that, but like spiky metal and like deadly.
I love it. Oh, my God. See, this is why you'd be. This is why you'd be so much a better of a production designer than I would be, because I totally would be like, it's a floating needle.
It's a
No. I thought it was interesting that it says Paul recognized it at once, a common assassination weapon that every child of royal blood learned about at an early age. And I'm sitting here going, dude, you get taught this as a kid?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good.
I gotta go be a dad for another quick second.
Nope,
entertain the people.
I've got a few things to show off. Let's do this. Oh, okay, I forgot how to make my screen bigger for a second. Okay, let's see. So I showed that off. Oh, another thing I'll do an unboxing of soon. I'll probably like film it tomorrow. Earth 2 Batman. Yo, I kept seeing pictures of this online and like hesitating to buy it because I'm like, oh, I don't know much about Earth 2 Batman. But I saw pictures of like the actual figure like all set up and I was like, yo, the detail is actually insane. Like the trident she has and like, she just looks like a cool Batman, Aquaman pirate thingy. Very cool. So yeah, I'll do one. I still gotta do one on my Thomas Wayne. Okay, so I have Thomas Wayne I gotta do, Robin, Earth 2 Batman. Oh, I'll show this off. I guess I haven't really. Okay, he's back. I'll save this for if he has to go again. There we go.
Because that's a distinct possibility at this point,
Yes, I'll save that. I'm not gonna fire all my bullets.
Ah, yes. Yeah, somebody was kind of connected. Someone was afraid of the dark and needed me to turn on the light.
That's okay. I get afraid of the dark sometimes too. Hence why I had to buy a new lamp.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't get afraid of the dark? I mean, seriously, dark is creepy.
Joey, I loved all those dark nights. Yes, dude, the hybrids are so cool. I don't know. Well, I sent you a picture of this when I got it. The Earth 2.
Oh yeah, the deep. What was that with
the drowned?
The drowned. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, those one shots where you got their origin stories that came out during Metal, like back in 2016 or 17. Those were amazing books.
I agree.
So like I said, I think it's kind of telling about the society that's like, yeah, if you're children of a house, you're going to learn, about assassination methods. Just, it's like, wow, that's what you're teaching your kids.
Yeah,
that's
you know what? Screw the color wheel. We're going to learn about hunter seekers and how they could kill you.
Yes, we're going to learn about poisons and, flying metal objects.
Yeah. But it just tells you how well Paul remembered it, because it says through Paul's mind flashed the related knowledge, the hunter seeker's limitations, its compressed I can't say it. Suspensor
There
field.
you go.
There we go. Distorted the room to reflect his target. The operator would be relying on motion, anything that moved. A shield could slow a hunter, give time to destroy it, but Paul had put aside his shield on the bed. So, an interesting thing, hunter seekers are controlled by somebody else. And I think we know who's controlling it.
We know.
Someone in the other room. And it's like, he did not hesitate. Like, as soon as Lady Jessica left, he's like, all right, let's do this. Gonna kill her now.
Well, I mean, he's got motivations. We understand.
I know.
I love the idea. It talks about laser guns. That's how we're going to talk about lasers. Laser guns were expensive and notoriously cranky of maintenance, which I think goes back to the fact that we're still talking about society that they have personal shields, but yet they still train them how to use like dagger weapons, like swords and daggers.
Yeah. Because it says there was always the peril of explosive pyrotechnics if the laser beam intersected a hot shield. The Atreides relied on their body shields and their wits. Now Paul held himself in near catatonic immobility, knowing that he had only his wits to meet this threat.
This goes back to why that dueling chapter wasn't as boring as it was. I'm gonna win you over on that dueling chapter. It will happen.
No, yeah, for sure, because he the hunter seeker lifted another half meter. It rippled through the slated light from the window blinds back and forth, quartering the room. The window. I must try to grab it, he thought. The suspensor field will make it slippery at the bottom. I must grip tightly.
And that what leads into this, I think, probably one of the most badass Paul moments is because Mapes opens the door. And this thing doesn't have a camera on it. It's literally motion sensors. And it just zips towards Mapes. And Paul does that badass move where he just literally grabs it in the middle of the air and then smashes it against the wall to like jam the needle. And I'm just here going, I was like, there's nothing more cool to me than someone grabbing something completely out of midair, especially since I have no ability to do that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'd be a split second too late, and Mapes would just be dead.
It's like I sucked at baseball. So it's like the swinging, the catch. No, none of that kind of hand-eye coordination is. Ooh, yes, I completely agree with you, Paul, on that.
Well, like, I feel like that is, in general, I feel like that's how I feel as well. That hand-to-hand combat is just like way more honorable, respectable as just grabbing a gun and shooting someone.
Which, of course, then, shout out to the 40-year anniversary of Raiders, which is why that scene is so amazing, because it's like, I screw honor. No, I'm tired. Bye.
Yeah. But yeah, like it says, Paul's right hand shot out and grabbed, gripping the deadly thing. It hummed and twisted in his hand, but his muscles were locked on it in desperation. With a violent turn and thrust, Paul slammed the thing's nose against the metal door plate. He felt the crunch of its nose eye as the nose eye smashed and the seeker went dead in his hand. Still, he held it to be certain. And then Mapes is like, your father sent for you. Here's some guys that will escort you. And Paul is just like, okay, I'll go. But like, so crazy.
I also love the fact that, Mapes talks about we Fremen and he picks up on that. And he's just like, oh, that's a Fremen. Like, he's connecting. Because remember, Paul's had those dreams. He's already had the dream of who we know is what's going to be Zendaya's character. And so he knows that he has a connection to the Fremen coming up. So now he gets to meet his first one. And I love, but it's so childish. Like, oh, a Fremen.
Yeah.
Hi.
And then you can tell he's like in shock. So it says on page 110, he had to swallow before he could speak. Was its target. And Mapes says, but it was coming for me. And he said, because you were moving. And he wondered, who is this creature? And then she's like remarks that he saved his life, saved her life. But yeah, it's so, I love that. I mean, it's so short. It's what, like, let's see, it's literally like 5 pages long.
Right,
but it's so to the point.
Well, because it's honestly the most action we've had in the book so far.
Mm-hmm.
The book has been, up to this point, a lot of exposition, a lot of setup. Granted, once again, I mean, Meg, show the folks at home like how big this book is. I mean,
okay, so this is how much we've read, and then this is how much is left. So there you go.
Yeah. So it's okay that we're getting a lot of setup right now, but it is kind of fun when you get a chapter like this where it's like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You know, there's the action.
I've noticed that. I think it's good that we're doing like 3 at a time, because there's always at least like one chapter in the 3 that we're reading that is super long. Like, not super long, but like longer than the others. And then like there's a small chapter and then like a medium chapter.
It's the Goldilocks rule. You know, it's like not too long, not too short, just right. But yet also, we also tend to find the longer chapters more interesting because there tends to be more in them.
Yeah. Let's see. The Mape says, before I do your bidding, manling. What was his bidding? Oh, yeah. It says, go to my father's men. He said, tell them I've caught a hunter-seeker in the house, and they're to spread out and find the operator. Tell them to seal off the house and the grounds immediately. They'll know how to go about it. The operator's sure to be a stranger among us. And then, but I think that's interesting because literally the chapter starts out and he's such a kid. And then the chapter ends where he's like commanding people.
Yes.
Like, go do this, go do that, like making these decisions. And then she says, before I do your bidding, manling, Mape said, I must cleanse the way between us. You've put a burden on me that I'm not sure, a water burden on me that I'm not sure I care to support, but we Fremen pay our debts, be they black bets or white bets. And it's known to us that you've a traitor in your midst. Who is it? We could not say, but we're certain of it. Mayhap there's a hand guided. Perhaps there's the hand guided that flesh cutter. Paul absorbed in the silence a traitor. Before he could speak, the odd woman rolled away and ran back towards the entry. So, wow, she just dropped that bomb on him.
Mic drop, you know.
Yeah, like, you know, there's a traitor among you, and we can't tell who it is, but they probably were the one controlling that. Peace. Yeah.
Okay, I got a piece to put some boys to bed. Good thing you didn't shoot all your bullets. Now you can show off the other toys.
Yes.
Everyone's this stream is like the variety show tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's do this. Okay, last thing. Well, I guess I could have 2 things I could show. Bam. Look at that. Very cool. I got this as a gift. Very cool. I always wanted this too. But it's a Black Adam. And he's got, you know, electricity around him. Very cool. It's cool because his ears are pointed too. Let's see if I can get that. Yeah, his ears are pointed. Very cute. Sing some show tunes. I leave that to Scott. I don't think I know any show tunes. Do I? I don't know. I don't think I do, to be honest. Let's see, what else can I show you guys? Oh. This is actually just funny. I don't know why it's on my desk. I've got Power Girl here, which it's so weird to see, like, pops with boobs like that big. But yeah, that's Power Girl. I need a new one, honestly, because I got this off Amazon a few years ago and the box is like really effed up. Especially to like my, like, it's like crooked, like, look, it's like curved. But yeah, she got some boobies on her. It's just weird, like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I know, it's just funny to me to think that, like, they made the pop, like, and they're like, all right, we gotta make sure it's accurate, we gotta put some boobs on her, guys. Sing the song from Step Brothers. Which one? I don't know. The one at the end. How does that go? Oh, or Boats and Hoes? Boats and Hoes. You don't really sing that, though. Gotta have me my boats from the dinner table? No way. I'm not singing that. Get a new one and give that one to Dave. I could give him that one. I do really want to get a new one. I wish they'd make a new one. I have the Supergirl from the TV show. She's really cool. But again, that box is really messed up. I had to put it in a pop protector to like fix the sides because like they were all like falling off. I'm not singing that song at all. You know, I could send you guys a link and you could come in and sing it if that's what you guys want. We could do that. Or at the end, you know, or like, rock the fuck out of those drums, Dale. Oh man, I love that movie so much. God, it's so good. So yeah, let me totally could have you guys come in and sing it. You know what? I'll even do this. Where's my group chat with you guys? By the way, anyone watching, I terrorize this group chat. Absolutely terrorize them every day, and I love it. It's hilarious. And I don't feel bad about it at all. Oh, man, my computer is messing up. I need a new computer, to be honest. But actually, I just need to update the one I have. Let's see, what else can I show you guys? Oh. I have pants on. Well, they're shorts, technically. So don't think that I don't have pants on. I also got this from Geek House Show. I also got the Black Adam, but it's amazing. Roy Fisher autographed Cyborg. And it's like the first appearance Cyborg suit. So like that's what it looks like. You know what okay, so it's cool because there's Power Girl. But I really want, where is it? There we go. I really want this guy. Actually, I really want all of them from this collection, but yeah, I was so afraid to like take it out of its pop protector because I don't want to mess it up. I'm trying not to get the reflection. There we go. Nope. There we go. I know, right? It's so awesome. I cannot believe they gave this to me. Like, it's so cool. I know. Nice. It's my favorite. Cool. What's up, Jacob? But yeah, it's really dope. I'm so glad I have this. Never ever did I think I would get something this cool in my life. But yeah, so I should probably put this up somewhere. You can't really see it. Like, I have this new desk. It's L-shaped, so like I can put like a bunch of cool stuff here, but it's not that big, to be honest. Here, this is what I'll do. Oh, actually, yeah. Anyways, okay, he's back because I ran out of things to show.
I hope that will be the last daddy interruption.
No, did you ever see that? Did I send you a picture of this?
Yeah, you did.
It's so cool.
It is so cool.
Okay,
you know.
Let me put my toys back. They're not toys; they're collectibles. That's cool. What my dad always calls them toys, and I'm like, Dad, they're not toys; they're collectibles.
I hate to break this to you, they're toys. No. You are a toy.
It's funny because some of them actually say like they'll be like, "Oh, 14 and up" or something.
Yeah. I love that. It's kind of like the cartoon.
Not suitable for children under 36 months.
That's a lot of things that aren't suitable for children under 36 months. It's because they can put things in their mouth. They put everything in their mouth.
Peace out, Joey.
Bye, Joey.
They wanted me to sing a song from Step Brothers, but yeah, that wouldn't end up good. The one when they're at the dinner table.
I've never seen Step Brothers.
What?
Meg.
Step Brothers is amazing.
Meg.
What?
You know me, right?
I know. You would love Step Brothers.
Would I, though?
No, probably not. I cannot believe that.
Obviously you need to talk, and we need to look at my movie collection to understand what my
Anthony's really like. Oh no. World's Finest bases their personality off of that movie and Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
It's funny because my dad actually called us like Bob and Tom for like, he's like, I can only listen to tit jokes so much. Oh, it was funny.
I'm starting to understand why your dad appreciates this stream so much.
He's like, yeah, it's so highbrow compared to what I usually do, which is smut.
Well, some things do throb, so you know. just saying. Just saying.
All right, let's get this final chapter done so we can open up some
toys.
Collectibles.
Action figures.
Action figures, yeah, exactly.
They're not dolls; they're action figures.
I actually have a perfect drop for that. Hold on, where is it?
Don't take it out. I'm sorry. You know what? It's just it loses its value if you take it out of its packaging.
Wow, you would have to pick that movie.
40-year-old virgin. Have you seen that?
I saw that opening day.
Thank God.
I saw that thing opening day. That movie is funny as hell and hit a little too close to home at the time. So I'm just saying.
That part hits home for me. If someone tried to take anything that I have out of the box, I would have a meltdown.
Oh man, do you remember Catherine Keener making him sell all his toys on eBay?
Yeah, I would never do that to someone I'm dating ever. No, because I would never expect them to do it to me. The relationship would be over.
Well, the relationship should be over. It's like
exactly.
No, yeah, exactly.
These are my things, and they stay in the box.
Yeah, that's why I have a man cave, because my wife is like, you can have your stuff, just put the shit where I can't see it. Okay, deal.
That's why I have a whole apartment that's just covered in my favorite things.
So basically your apartment is your she shed.
Oh yeah, it's my bachelorette pad. That's what I call it.
Okay, yeah. One of these days you will appreciate the concept of the she shed.
Yeah. I will. I know I will.
So
okay, let's do this last chapter.
I know. This chapter makes me ask questions.
Yes.
And granted, I'm the one who's actually read the entire book already. So what I'm really interested to know is, when you read this chapter, overall thoughts, what were you thinking? How many question marks were popping out of your head? Discuss. So
what I was thinking was that, so in this chapter, there's like this secret room that's meant for Jessica. And it has like these really cool palm locks, which I think would be dope to have.
Yeah, it would.
I always think, here's another tangent. I get so irritated that like your cars have, like cool key fobs, but like my apartment, I don't have a cool key fob. Like if my arms are like full of groceries or pops or anything, I have to put them down. I have to find my keys. I have to put it in the lock and open it. It would just be so cool if I had a key fob for my apartment.
Yes.
Or a cool palm lock. That what she says that she like learned how to open it even if it's not meant for her, right? Like she can like maneuver it or whatever. So yeah, there's this really cool room, and it's such. Each chapter, it's weird because like we do the 3 chapters, and the first chapter I always feel like is foreshadowing for something that could happen, or like there's a very important thing that's mentioned that is mentioned in the last chapter we read. So like water. Yes. So in my thinking in this is she was so concerned about water in chapter 8. And I feel like in chapter 10, we find out that there's a way that she could get more water to more people.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
So that's kind of like what I was thinking. This room that she goes in, I think I wrote it down. It's page 116. There's enough water to support was 1,000 houses in Arrakis or something like that. So this room is like a big, like, I would say it's like a greenhouse, right?
Yes, a greenhouse is exactly how I would describe it.
And there's like running water in it, like a waterfall, and like this room is specifically like a hideaway for her. I don't remember who made it for her. It was Hawat, right?
Well, no, it because the letter that's left is from that other Bene Gesserit woman who leaves the code.
Lady Fenring.
Yes.
Yeah, she says, "May this place give you as much pleasure as it has given me. Please permit the room to convey a lesson we learned from the same teachers. The proximity of a desirable thing tempts one to overindulgence. On that path lies danger." Which, when you're reading like the little story in the beginning, it says. What had the Lady Jessica to sustain her in the time of trial? Think you carefully on this Bene Gesserit proverb, and perhaps you will see any road followed precisely to its end leads precisely nowhere. Climb the mountain just a little bit to test that it's a mountain. From the top of the mountain you cannot see the mountain. So like when it says like hints specifically at a on that path lies danger, I'm like, okay, interesting.
Yeah, I also, and I wonder if you had this reaction. Reading about the greenhouse was almost painful to me.
Yeah.
Because thinking about Arrakis, that just seems like an incredible waste of water.
Yes, yeah, and I feel like she knows that. Like she's in there, and one of her first thoughts is like how many houses and how many people could use this water to live.
Yeah, it's like when you see those houses that have like the fountains and the swimming pools, and you just want to go, seriously? Like,
yeah.
Like that's what you're doing?
And it's like it's almost like they know that it's a pleasurable thing because it's hidden away. Like if someone were to find this, they would so heavily judge whoever it is.
We'll talk about the riots.
Exactly. Like if the Fremen people or like the Arakan people saw that, they would burn it down.
Yes. And it's interesting that other Bene Gesserit, the Lady Fenric, which once again you get the she's a lady. He married her. Like
yes.
that voice that voice.
Yeah, it says a bitter thought touched Jessica in passing. The Count married his lady. Even as the thought flicked through her mind, she was bending to seek out the hidden message in this. The visible note contained the code phrase, every Bene Gesserit not bound by a school injunction was required to give another Bene Gesserit when conditions demanded it. On that path lies danger.
Which, interesting, once again, goes back to the fact that the Bene Gesserit deal in paths. And how do we navigate paths to get the outcome that we desire?
I'm trying to think of like what the note could mean. The proximity of a desirable thing tempts one to overindulgence, because Lady Jessica to me doesn't seem like someone that like partakes in overindulgence of anything.
But I think that's the point, though, is to always remember that. Like it's one of those things. Like, yeah, you're a good person, but let's make sure, 20 years in Gotham, Alfred, we've seen how much promises are worth. How many good guys are left? How many stayed that way? The idea that you can lose that, and this is to be a reminder of never lose never lose
yeah.
that thought. Yeah. Like it's almost like you should be this greenhouse is beautiful and it's gorgeous and it's got all these plants, but yet never forget that you should be repulsed by what this represents on this planet.
Yes. And then she's trying to find out what the hidden message is. And then she finds, like, on the back of the paper, she noted the leaf above the pad. The leaf, she brushed her finger along the surface, along the edge, along the stem. There it was. Her fingers detected a subtle coded dots, scanned them in single passage. So it says, your son and the Duke are in immediate danger. A bedroom has been designed to attract your son. The H loaded it with death traps to be discovered, leaving one that may escape detection. And then she, is like, wants to go run back to Paul, but she needed to, like, learn the full message. I do not know the exact nature of the menace, but it has something to do with a bed. The threat to your Duke involves defection of a trusted companion or lieutenant. The H plans to give you as a gift to a minion. To the best of my knowledge, this conservatory is safe. Forgive that I cannot tell more. My sources are few, as my count is not in the pay of H. In haste, MF. And as soon as she gets done reading, Paul shows up, which I think is crazy timing.
Exactly. Maybe a little convenient, but once again, we got to get the plot moving a little bit. But I think it's interesting that she just reads about how there's going to be an assassination attempt on Paul.
And then, boom.
Paul shows up with the Hunter Seeker, like, in his hand.
He still has it. He's still, like, choking it. Yeah.
He's like, I don't know if I don't know if I smashed it or not.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I think I have to sneeze. Keep talking.
Okay. And of course, I love the fact that the first thing is to, throw it in the water and let's make sure it doesn't move. Like, okay, it's drowned now. So it's funny. It's I think it's the irony that the water is a waste, but yet we're going to use the water to, like, once again, it's just water. Like, everything, just right now, everything's revolving around this idea of water.
Yeah, and, like, ways to, not waste it, but then it's like they have to, like, she has to use it, in some. Jacob says, bless you. Thank you. But yeah, no, it's so interesting that, like, water is the one thing that they would, like, struggle with. It's such like a basic thing that everyone needs, and that's why I feel like the Harkonnen. How do I say it again? Harkonnen. Okay, that's why I feel like
everyone calls it Harkonnen, probably because that's how the Lynch movie pronounced it. But we watched that Secrets of Dune video where Herbert was like, "No, it's Harkonnen."
Got it. Okay, yeah, I always go back and forth. I'm like, wait, did I say it right? But that's why I feel like they were the ones that maybe put I don't know, has Arrakis always been that way? Like, has water always been scarce on Arrakis, or was it specifically, like, around the time the Harkonnens took it over?
I get
or is that a spoiler? How long have they been in charge?
Yeah. I think it's fair to say, because, the Harkonnens have only been there since spice has been discovered. Remember, Paul talked about that film book where they had the ecology of Arrakis before the discovery of the spice. So Arrakis has been deserty since before the Harkonnens. Yes.
Okay. Well, dang, there goes my theory.
Yeah. Wah.
That's okay. But yeah, no, I just think it's interesting that it's water, like, instead of, like, something like spice or something. I just think that's interesting.
But this is also when Jessica starts thinking that Howard is the traitor.
Yeah.
And I just and I'm trying to, follow the dots here. Basically, her reasoning for thinking that it's Howard simply because Howard, as the Mentat, should be so good at his job that these things should not have. One of these things shouldn't have escaped his notice, and there was that stick that was propping up the entrance to the door of the greenhouse that I think had like his symbols or his initials on it or something. I forgot exactly what the clue was on the stick that would point her to Howat.
Yeah, the Hawa insignia on the guy's cap or something. I don't.
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, which it's interesting because this, what is he, a guard or something? The door swung wide and a tall man in a Atreides uniform with a Hawa insignia on his cap leaned into the room. "There you are, sir," he said. "The housekeeper said you'd be here." He glanced around the room. "We found what is that? Karen? It's page 120. I don't know if that's...
I'll have to give it because it was his personal mark was on the prop.
Yeah.
So
and caught the man in it. He had a seeker council. Yeah, so it was just like a random guy they found in a cellar. He had a seeker council. And then Jessica says she wants to take part in the investigation, but this guard says, "Sorry, my lady, we messed up catching him. He died." "Nothing to identify him?" she asks. "We found nothing yet, my lady." "Was he an Arakan native?" Paul asks. And then Jessica nods at the astuteness of the question.
Once again, Paul all his parents always the adults around Paul always picking up on the fact that he's very perceptive.
Yes. But yeah, it's interesting though that they're like, obviously it's not the person, or is it? I don't. Does Dr. Yu have to be the one that controls it, or could it be somebody else?
I think it's one of those cases where this was
hire someone else?
Yeah, like a stooge, like a fall guy. He probably was controlling it, but it was at the behest of.
Oh, okay, got it. But yeah, it's like the guy looked native, and it looked like he had been there for a while, like waiting for them to arrive.
Yeah, so he was a plant. That was the reason, and that's supposed to explain why they missed him, because it wouldn't have been anything new. He was just kind of there.
Yeah, and it's interesting because on page 121 they start the conversation of who they think could have done it, because they both have had two separate conversations, or the note that Jessica read saying that it's someone close to you that's going to harm you type thing, because Mapes told Paul that it's someone close to you, and then the note specifically said like a lieutenant or
companion.
Oh yeah, a trusted companion or lieutenant. And in my thinking, it's like they never go to Dr. Yu, and it's so like they don't even suspect that he could be it.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating.
I know.
That's the frustrating part. And once again, that's dramatic irony for you.
Yeah.
We as the audience knows, so we're having the suspension tension because we are like, we know what the characters don't know, and it like frustrates us because it's like, it's right there. It's him.
Yeah, I know. But then also it says that the wing that they're staying in currently, like where Paul's bedroom was the only place that she hadn't checked out in this house yet. She said, "This wing is the only place I hadn't examined." She said, "I put it off to last because," and then Paul said, "because Hawat gave it his personal attention." So, yeah, I don't know, because she asks Paul if he just trusts him, and Paul says no, he's just getting old, overworked. But yeah, it's just interesting that she immediately thinks Hawat.
Yeah, and it's frustrating for me as a reader to go, why the Mentat? Simply because Yu is doing this on the inside, then that means that the Mentat's not allowed to make a mistake. Like, yeah. That once again, it just goes into the frustration of watching Jessica go down that wrong path of who the traitor actually is.
Where's this? But she knows, or she feels that Paul is keeping something from her, because obviously he hasn't told her about the conversation that he had with Mapes. It says And Paul thought, it'll worry her, but I must tell her what that Mapes woman said about a traitor among us. She says, Paul, what are you holding back? This isn't like you, Paul. He shrugged, recounted the exchange with Mapes, and Jessica thought of the message on a leaf. She came to a sudden decision, showed Paul the leaf, told him its message. And then Paul's like, immediately wants to tell his dad.
Yeah.
I'll radiograph it in code and get it off. And she says, no, wait till you see him alone. As few as possible must learn about it.
Well, they're also worried about the communications being intercepted, because this is about the same time that they look out the window and, someone's basically doing Morse code. I like the way how Herbert describes it. He called it blink, squirt, glimmer, blink.
Yeah, at the end of the chapter, they talk about, those lights. And I thought that was interesting because, what was it? There was a specific thing. Lights being used to send messages between Leto's enemies. I think that's how she words it.
Well, because that's who she thinks it is. Like she we don't know who these light signals are, but we realize somebody's up on like the horizon in the mountains, and they're signaling to someone down, because you get the sense that these mountains are like this protective barrier around the city of Hurricane. That like, because I mean, come on, we're talking about a desert planet. I mean, what's one of the we've all seen Ghost Protocol. We know what can happen in like just like Dubai, like giant sandstorms, and and so you just, and let's be honest, how creepy would it be that you just had an assassination attempt and all of a sudden you start seeing blinking lights and patterns, like
in this room that you just discovered that's meant for you. Jessica concentrated on the single bright star, realizing it was too low, that it must have come from the shield wall cliffs. Someone signaling. She tried to read the message, but it was in no code she had ever learned. Other lights had come down on the plain beneath the cliffs, little yellow spaces out against blue darkness. One light off to their left grew brighter, began to wink back at the cliff very fast. Blink, squirt, glimmer, blink. And it was gone. The false star in the cliff winked out immediately. Signals, and they filled her with premonition. Why were lights used to signal across the basin, she asked herself. Why couldn't they use the communications networks? The answer was obvious. The communication was certain to be tapped by agents of Duke Leto. Light signals could be the only mean that messages were being sent between his enemies, between Harkonnen agents.
Dun, dun, dun.
There came a tapping at the door behind them, and the voice of Hawat's man. All clear, sir. Milady, time to be getting the young master to his father. And that ends chapter 10. Jacob says
sorry.
Shout out to Ghost Protocol. You're sorry, what?
But once again, I love how when we just almost
it's so strange. Yeah, that we picked the right ones. Yeah.
We picked the right one, because when we picked this 3-chapter structure, like, we have these great cliffhangers to carry us forward into the next section of 3.
Yeah, because the last 3 was Lady Jessica like, oh, I got to get to Paul. I have to get to him now. Yeah. And then these 3 were just, it's strange how because I had no idea. I just was like, let's do 3 because that worked out so well.
Happy accidents.
Exactly. Well, do you have anything else you want to discuss about those 3 chapters?
I mean, besides me, constantly having to go play daddy in the middle of the stream, I really do feel like that we really hit on. These are a few more straightforward. These chapters were a little bit more straightforward than we've had so far. The first chapter had the most to talk about, but I really felt like we really delved into it while we were there. It was, once again, I love it how whenever we start to talk about something and we're both like, I highlighted that too.
Yeah. I always love it because when I'm writing my notes, I'm like thinking like, oh, I can't wait to see if we wrote down like the same thing, or like if we interpreted something the same way, which we usually do for the most. I mean, other than like certain things. And I feel like it's cool that, we're I'm a woman, you're a man. So like some things that we discuss, like we see it in like different perspectives. But like,
yes,
I don't know. I just think it's cool.
And also, I'm going through this as a reread and
Yeah.
and enjoying slowing my roll and like
Yeah.
really delving into it, highlighting stuff. And you're having the experience of doing that on your first time. And then, of course, I just snicker at things that you come up with because it's just kind of like, oh, that's cute. That's cute, Meg.
I know. It's cool sometimes. Like, if I get something right, I can tell because your reaction, like, because you don't, spoiler, you don't hide it very well when I get it right.
Sometimes. Oh, I'm a terrible liar. I'm awful. My wife tells me all the time.
Oh, yes, I got something right. All right, Scott. Well, we have another video to film after this, so we're gonna be I'm gonna be unboxing the one I have. I do have Lady Jessica, so I might go grab her quick to show her off.
Oh, you have something. You have another one, by the way. I've seen.
I do. Remember my pops. Oh yeah, no. I have my
your Baron.
Yeah, well that's what I meant. I have the Baron to unbox, and then you have your Bill the Batista ones too.
Yes, I do.
But yeah, we're gonna film that after this, so I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this because, like, when I get McFarlane's, like, I'm surprised these are still in their packaging because I just want to open them so quickly.
Oh, how do you think I have felt? I was supposed to unbox these things a week ago, and then you had to go and lose your freaking power.
Lose my power? I know. How dare I? All right. Well, where can people find you, Scott?
Well, of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27. You can find my podcast, the DC Film Squadcast, wherever podcasts can be found. You can find the entire network of Squadcast Media on Vero, YouTube, Facebook, and at our website, squadcastmedia.com. But I'd like to shout out some friends. Yes. Of course, I'm here almost every week talking Dune here on the Wonder Meg. You can find me every Saturday night over on Film Junkie talking Batman, the animated series on our Fanimated stream. And Sunday, maybe, I would invite everyone to go check out another wonderful podcast. It's called I Love That Movie. My friend Lisa just has a guest pick a movie that they love, and I recorded last night. We'll be talking about the 1984 cult classic, The Last Starfighter.
Ooh, interesting. I know I follow when you posted that tweet, and I was like, I gotta make sure I'm following all these because I need to know when they drop. So I followed them.
Yay. Lisa does a great podcast. It's all about no negativity. A guest just picks a movie. She watches it with them. Sometimes it's her first time watching the movie. And then she has the guest on just to say, why do you love this movie?
That's so cool. That's really cool. That's an awesome idea too. Like no negativity, just talking about stuff you love. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will see you guys. Well, I'll probably post the unboxing tomorrow. I'll edit it tonight and get it out tomorrow. So make sure you follow me. You can find me pretty much everywhere that's listed. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.